Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Abigail and I make videos about special needs and health issues and feeding tubes. As you can see, I'm on one right there. So I recently, I don't remember the date, but I recently got a feeding tube, a GJ tube. The G is to vent, which basically means I get sick out of it. The J tube is for my nutrition. So, it has been kind of crazy, but where I'm at right now is a lot more positive than it was at first. Long story short, if you're new, basically, the company that we went with, for my formula, for the pump, they were very slow getting it to us, and I had went like 4 days without nutrition, and I didn't completely lose consciousness, but I could not control my body. It's like I fainted but didn't fully faint, if that makes sense. And so, long story short, I was brought to our main hospital. They ran some tests and knew something was wrong, didn't really know what it was. So like the next day we went to the hospital that I had surgery at, and basically they told me that I have a partially collapsed lung. So they gave me this thing where you do breathing exercises on, and I have done that a few times every day since then, and I still do wheeze if I take a deep breath, but I'm a lot better than I was. Like you can hear it like that when I take a deep breath, but it's not as constant as it was before. Also, I met my feeding rate goal, which is 40. You can't really see the screen very well right there. Thought it would let me zoom in, but it's not letting me. My goal on the feeding tube was to make it to 40, and I did that, which makes me go through 4 bottles of formula every day. And I think I've shared this, but if I haven't, I am on continuous feeds. I'm allowed to be off of the feeds, like to take a shower or to change clothes, and things like that, but I'm on constant feeds because that's how I'm getting my nutrition. And if you're wondering why I have a feeding tube, a couple of different reasons. For one, I have gastroparesis, which is where my stomach is partially paralyzed, caused from a previous surgery I had where I was going to get my hernia fixed, and the surgeon was a general surgeon, not a specialist. He hit the nerve in my stomach, partially paralyzed my stomach, which causes pain and nausea, and it caused a bunch of stuff. And so when we found out that I have a hernia again, the surgeon that was a specialist that I went to, the one that did my feeding tube, said that part of my health stuff was from the gastroparesis, and some of it was from the hernia, which I think it was a large hernia, or maybe a medium hernia. I can't remember. Okay, so like I was saying, found out I had gastroparesis, got on this special diet where I eat smaller, more frequent meals. I was on that diet for like a couple of years, or a few years, and then started having health issues again, found out I had a hernia again, and found out that this time my health issues were caused from a hernia and my gastroparesis, so I could only hold like a handful of things down. I started losing a bunch of weight. It wasn't good. So we found a specialist, and they said that I had lost so much weight that I needed to get a feeding tube. So I got a GJ tube. The G is to vent, meaning that I get sick out of it. And the J tube is where I get my nutrition from. We were told at first that it would be a 18-hour a day feed. However, when we got the paperwork from the company that gave us the pump, Daniel wants to say hi.
Hi.
Have a good night, bub.
Good night. I'm going to bed. And tonight. So good night, everyone that's watching.
Okay, sorry. My little brother came in to tell me good night, and then he was being funny. So anyways, what I was saying. Had a bunch of health issues. Found out I couldn't keep enough weight on, so I had to get a feeding tube. The G is for venting. It means I get sick out of it. The J is for my feeds. At night, I have it hooked to this pole, which it stays. I do unhook from it, like if I need to go to the bathroom or things like that. That's just going to take a couple minutes to do. And then in the morning times, I actually have a backpack that I put it in.
Oh, yeah.
And that way I can carry it. Okay, so in the morning times, I put it in a backpack. That way I can carry it around places, because what was going to be 18 hours turned to 24 hours because the surgeon decided that, or take it back, the surgeon said 18 hours, but whenever we got the paperwork for the pump and the formula and all of that, it said 24 hours. So basically I'm off of it to like change or take a shower, things like that, and then I'm back on it. So
I want to wait for you.
This is what we do for nighttime. So with having a feeding tube, there's plenty of like flushing the tube throughout the day, which is where you put water through it to clean it. There's also, changing the bag and things like that. So what we do is basically both of my parents kind of have a part in like helping me with it, because they like to. My mom sets up my bag for the night, and I put my pump on the pole, and my mom is usually the one that puts my formula in my bag for me. We normally, at night, I think we normally put about, I think at night we put about 2 bottles in, because, when you're asleep like 8 or 9.
Watermelon stove? Yay!
Okay, so sorry about all the pauses in this video. We are kind of getting ready for bed in our house, so things can kind of get crazy. But anyways, like I was saying, I'm on a feeding tube because of gastroparesis, plus having a pretty big hernia from my birth defect. Got to the point where I lost a lot of weight, and I wasn't able to keep my weight on with what I could hold down. So I got a GJ tube. G for venting, which means I get sick of it. J for the feeds. I was supposed to be on it 18 hours a day, but when we got paperwork back, it said 24 hours a day. So, I'm basically on it all the time, besides to shower or change clothes. So, it's definitely been a learning experience. A few things that I've learned from having a feeding tube that's been hard. One is for finding out what's wrong when the pump beeps. I'm doing better at it, but it's like, it's the kind of pump that I have is the infinity pump, and it is very, very picky. Anytime it's like, technically when it's kinked, it does beep a lot because there's literally no nutrition going through that, which is good that it tells you, but it's like to the point where it's like this annoying beeping sound, and anytime it beeps, if it's not that it's kinked, it's that it's out of formula, and you gotta basically figure out the problem. And so, I've gotten a lot better at it. It can be frustrating when you're just trying to make it stop beeping, because obviously, like, you hear the beeping sound and you know something's wrong and you're trying to figure out what, and it does not have patience. Let's just say that. I would say the second hard thing about being on a feeding tube is probably people staring at me in public. So I still have the dangler tube, which is the kind of tube they put in for when your insides are healing. And then I think they say it's about 5 or 6 weeks after you heal, they put a button in. And so, I'm supposed to go when, I don't know, they gotta call us for a date to see when I get like an actual feeding tube button. I'll get one for the J and one for the G. And I gotta say that being hooked up to a feeding tube while you're in public, it's not that it's necessarily hard, it's just that I get these looks of like, I can tell that people want to know why I'm on a feeding tube, but yet they're like too scared to ask, if that makes sense. So, like, definitely the looks are interesting, even though I really wish that people would come up to me and ask, because I'm definitely willing to share that information. I think that some people are, scared of it, I guess, coming across the wrong way. And I personally wouldn't be offended, but so definitely getting looks, people wondering what's going on, has definitely been interesting. The beeping, trying to figure out what's going on with the beeping, been interesting, but gotten better at it. How we do it right now is, like, I set up the pump at night. My mom fills the bag at night, and then early in the morning, usually before my mom goes to work, she'll check to see if my bag needs to be refilled. Because I am on a higher dose, I'm on 40 or a higher speed. The formula goes faster. So usually my mom will come and check it before she goes to work, because my mom works early in the morning, and then if it's almost low, then she'll put another bottle in it, and if it's not low, then if it's like during the week, like where my little brother would be at school, my dad will come in here and check on it, make sure there's enough formula, and then by the time I get up for the day, I take the pump off of this pole and I put it in my backpack, and which is a special designed backpack for feeding tubes, and I carry it around during the day. That way I can, like, leave the house with it. I'm still hooked up to my feeding tube when it is in the bag, but it's a lot easier to, like go do my mini walks. I'm supposed to do small walks throughout the day. It's easier to go do that when you don't have to bring the pole everywhere. So anyways, if you have any feeding tube questions for me, be sure that you let me know if I missed anything. Thank you all so much for your support, your prayers, and everything. I am still very, very sore. And I'm still having some nausea issues at night, but that will get better with meds and stuff. But thank you for the concerns, the prayers, and be sure that you subscribe if you're new, because I make videos about special needs and health issues and feeding tubes. So I'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.